Hey, what's up? I'm your guide Q, and today we're looking at some neckbeard stories of questionable quality. These are some of the top stories of all time, and I do not know how. So this is an old one. This story's from 8 years ago, which might as well be like 100 years ago as far as Neckbeard Stories is concerned, and it's called Kyle's Evolution, which is one of the sickest titles for a neckbeard story ever. Kyle was both a neckbeard and a weeaboo. He was tall at 6'4", about 250 pounds, overweight. He had the traditional neckbeard stuff, and yes, he fedora'd. He was also a weeaboo. He was a president of his high school's Japanese club, owned a Bakken, and would play tons of Japanese games. I knew Kyle pretty well. He and I hung out a lot. He never had too many friends, and I was the one hanging out with him almost every day. He had all sorts of cringeworthy moments. He would practice martial arts movement in the house, the Narutard kind. I've never heard that word used before, but maybe it was popular back in the day. He loved to go on about the beauty of Japan and how he wished we were all more Japanese. He practically stalked this one Asian girl, claiming true love. He would make misogynistic posts on Facebook about how dating girls is like paying a prostitute, except with flowers and candy instead of money, or how all girls were bitches. I'm quoting here. I'm sorry, I need to jump in. Like, if there was ever an argument for like, oh, dating a girl's just like paying a prostitute, I'm pretty sure that candy isn't gonna be the big complaint. Like, oh, I could never date abroad, you know, I'm just dropping like 200 a week on chocolates and it's I can't even pay my rent. Kyle didn't have very many close friends. He was shy yet argumentative, loud yet unconfident. He somehow managed to mangle up every social interaction. Kyle was never wrong. No matter what you were arguing, you were incorrect. He got bullied a lot because of his lack of tact. He had a pretty bad family situation. His mom and dad were divorced. When he decided to live with his dad 400 miles away, his mom didn't speak to him for 6 months. He was only 15. Kyle was traditional Roman Catholic, and they expected him to be that as well. He tried very hard, but was atheist to the core. I learned from him, much later on, that he also almost committed bad things many times because of this. He felt alone, unaccepted by his family and peers. There were very few people close to him, me being one of them. Kyle did eventually get better. He learned how to dress and treat women correctly. He made friends. He became a cameraman in LA. He isn't a weeb anymore, and a lot of people say he should be a male model. He has a nice girlfriend, friends, and takes showers daily. His beard even looks well groomed now. I never doubted this would happen, of course. I knew Kyle would be successful. Why, you ask? Because he really did care about people. He just didn't know how to show it. He just needed the right feedback and something that made him happy. I'm Kyle's little half-sister, by the way. When I moved with his dad and my mom 400 miles away, he came to us because he wanted to make sure I was okay living in a new place. He has always been very protective of me. When I was very little, a dog came after me trying to attack me. I was scared and could have been hurt, but Kyle appeared out of nowhere, picked me up, and ran until we were safe. He risked himself to keep me safe. We would spend every day together, him playing a video game and me sitting on the couch next to him. I was never lonely because he was there. My parents would yell at us and we'd go hide together. He would drive me to school and we'd sing Queen at the top of our lungs. I love my brother. He's the best person in my life. He's the only one who has ever given me any sympathy and truly helped me to understand that there are good people in this world. We're the best of friends. So don't judge a neckbeard immediately when you meet them. They're still people too. They want acceptance just like us. They go through pain just like us. Underneath the fedora and past the Dorito breath, you might just find one of the best people in your life. Now, this is obviously, like, super wholesome, and I enjoy it a lot, and I do believe that it's real. Obviously, there's a cynical part of me that's just like, is this some neckbeard propaganda written by a neckbeard? But even if it was, the values are true. You know, you shouldn't judge somebody just because they look like a neckbeard, and furthermore, if somebody even has the neckbeard behaviors, you know, within reason, they can grow out of that, you know? It might just be a phase of being super cringe. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have no idea if I've done this story before on the channel. It sounds like something I could have read, although it feels like I haven't. I literally just went through reading a 6-minute story about this girl that goes on a date with a Satanist neckbeard, only to be like, hey, did I talk about that? And then search my comments, find out I did that in 2019. So here we go, my teacher's an incel neckbeard. Oh, do I have a story for you. So I just started my sophomore year, and my school hired a ton of new teachers. One of those new teachers is Mr. A. Mr. A is a tall, slightly chunky, white male with glasses and the most glorious neckbeard of all time. I have his class first period, so lucky me. I get to see him every other day. On the first day of school, he shows up to school in a fedora with steampunk decor on the side, gears and shit, and I was so shocked. I could not believe that he was a real human being. He then proceeds to take off his hat and walk to the front of the classroom with his chin up in the air and his hands behind his back like a true gentleman. He introduces himself as Sire A, and I almost peed my pants from laughing so much. Did you really almost pee your pants from laughing at the teacher in class? I feel like that didn't happen. Anyway, moving on. A couple weeks later, we have a spirit week for homecoming. The first day was Decades Day, and my dude shows up in a whole steampunk outfit. Steampunk is cool, but this definitely wasn't. He had on a long blazer and top hat and everything. By now I knew he was the biggest neckbeard I've ever seen. The next couple of weeks, nothing too out there happens. He's just really creepy, especially to all the girls, and he is always the one that calls me out if my skirt is too short. Just weird stuff like that. He constantly uses incel terminology like Chad or Stacy, which is why I think he's definitely an incel. But yeah, nothing too crazy happens. Until one day, his school computer is getting fixed by IT, so he uses his personal computer. He was showing the class a PowerPoint when his computer crashed, and on the projector, his home screen was displayed for everyone to see. It was an anime girl with her fucking boobs out. At this point, I couldn't hold on to my laughter. I was howling. He just tried to play it cool and said, sorry. But no one let it slide that easy. Now every time I see him, all I can think about is his screensaver. This is one of the fakest fucking stories of all time, but this is like 2018, so this is sort of before all these neckbeard stereotypes were like beaten into the ground, so I guess this story might have been kind of believable, but the thing that immediately lost me was him using the terminology Chad and Stacy. I don't care how much of a shut-in you are as a teacher. You know that that's not going to translate to anybody in the classroom. Nobody's going to know what you're talking about. And I feel like I can almost imagine this person writing out the story being like, yeah, he's going to be this loser steampunk guy that wears a fedora and calls himself Sire. Oh, wait, maybe that's not cringy and bad enough. Oh yeah, he's also into little kids and uses incel terminology. And then they shoehorn in that whole like urban legend of a teacher showing some sort of inappropriate material on the PowerPoint. Has anybody ever actually had that happen? I feel like I've seen a picture from time to time of that happening, but you can never tell if it's photoshopped or not. So if you have a first-hand experience, let me know, because I feel like this is just a story, a legend that people repeat. Alright guys, I'm not gonna lie, I do not know what's going on with this story, but it's wild. XXXL Neckbeard makes a shop close. This story is from my 10th grade where I got a new classmate, Thomas, the Tank Engine. The name came from his superior weight, 360 pounds at the age of 16. He was extremely aggressive towards religious people, even with our Bible class teacher. However, he continued the class after it became facultative. He likes to wear leather coat and a fedora with black t-shirts. Fortunately, he wasn't the type who guilt trip or stalks girls. However, he had a girlfriend who left him after a week. This is a violation. Why even include that? Anyway, she told me she got fed up with Thomas's trampling and sub-dom interests. This is where he started to eat more. He started school with a pack of 13-inch wide pizza or a box of chicken tenders and ate it all in the first 2 classes. Okay, I'm a fat guy. I've eaten a lot of food. I do not know what a pack of 13-inch wide pizza is. Like, I know that they measure different pizzas, but what is a pack of these things? Anywho, wasn't enough. He stole food. This is where he started to bully the autistic shy kid to buy food for him, then they are going to be friends. But Thomas never had enough food to fill his belly. He had a friend called Mac. The name came from Apple because he had a superiority complex about his Apple collection. Mac skipped school to buy the new iPhone first and flex on us with it. Mac had about $50,000 from his dad's GSM business. I don't know what GSM is, but we weren't jealous. Mac stole our phones and asked for money to give it back. They called the other students normies for disagreeing with their behavior. Thomas shared videos about a guy having an intimate experience with raw chicken meat on the class's Facebook group, which contains teachers. Thomas realized the school's little store, which was operated by a single company, not by the school, applied a new cashier who has dyscalculia. I would seriously talk with the manager. He and Max started to buy $1.60 sandwiches for 70 cents and even guilted the cashier to give his money because he paid $3 for it. The money gone, and the shop wasn't able to pay the correct taxes, so it closed. This was the moment where the school gave up on him. He got expelled immediately after a month. In this month, they gave him 3 opportunities for him if he can behave normally, but this was his last one. Mac was at school for a month more, but he got expelled for stealing his teacher's phone. He wasn't a neckbeard, but was angry at the principal for his friend's unnecessary expulsion. Thomas got to a different school where he became a chef. Be careful with the chicken meat. This is one of the worst Neckbeard stories I've ever read. Like, I enjoy it so much, though. This is actually so much better than the people who do a good job of, like, creating a realistic thing, because it's actually entertaining. Like, this legit feels like something that was thrown together by, like, an AI that was designed to be, like, a 14-year-old kid who just discovered Neckbeard Stories and is now throwing together a bunch of different plot points just at random. Like, the money gone, and the shop wasn't able to pay the correct taxes, so it closed. Like, you wouldn't think they would just, you know, maybe get a new employee that can count money. Like, what is this world that we live in this story? It's fascinating. I want to hear more from this person's mind. I got a video on Reddit's stalker subreddit somehow becoming even worse, and a Cringetopia video if you're interested in either of those. Channel members to the left. Hope everybody's doing super well, drinking on to the best of your ability, and skating on some water. I'll see you super soon. Peace out.